Welcome to the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the games, players, and the big stories shaping sports right now.
We want you to be a part of it too. Drop your comments, questions, and takes. We'll read them all and bring them into future shows. So hit like, subscribe, and join the conversation every week for free on YouTube. We'll be on Spotify soon or wherever you listen. Joe, there's too much to talk about.
Jim, I was just literally going over, my notes for, what was kind of a light weekend of football and NFL matchups, and boy, was I wrong, because baseball is in full swing. The playoffs are underway, and I think we should jump right into some baseball.
Me too.
Some of the games have been, most of the games have been fantastic, but some of the series are, I think they're far from over.
Yeah, and some of the series you wonder, okay, a little home field, and then some of them didn't help at all. Now the series all go to, for the Dodgers and the Phillies, it goes to Los Angeles. Chavez Ravine will host games 3 and 4. Now we go to Wrigley, the friendly confines. Will they be friendly for the Chicago Cubs? I hope so, because I picked the Cubs. I guess you probably don't hope so, because you picked the Brew Crew.
Yes, I did.
And then we go back to Yankee Stadium, and I'm up on that one over you. But the final series, the Tigers-Mariners, that goes to Tiger Stadium now, or I guess what's it called now? Comerica Park? Okay. So
I can't keep up with the names of the ballparks.
And that's why we're undrafted.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my fault. At one time, I had been to all but one of the Major League Baseball parks. Throughout the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. One of my claims to fame, as you probably know, is I was at the earthquake game at then Candlestick Park. I don't think it was Pac Bell yet, but the point is it's really difficult now to keep up with the actual names because they change every year or two. I get it. It's all about the dinero. Anyways.
Can I guess? Can I guess the one stadium you haven't been to?
Sure, go ahead.
Rogers Park in Toronto.
Oh, it's unbelievable. That is exactly correct. Is it called Rogers Park? It wasn't Rogers Park back then, I don't think, but yes. I have never seen a baseball game in Toronto. I did see a baseball game in Montreal.
Very cool.
At the time, yes.
Was the game program in French?
You know what? I have no idea. Someone kept calling me a baguette. I think that's what they were calling me. Isn't that a kind of a bread?
I hope so.
It was mumbling. I think that's what they were saying, but I just ignored them. Yes.
Well, I'm going to start off with the Dodgers and the Phillies series, and then I'll let you take the Brewers because the Dodgers are up 2-0 on the road in Philadelphia, and I'll let you take the Brewers Cubs series because you're whooping me on that pick right now.
Well, that was one of my, fairly easy picks. Not because I knew the Brew Crew was going to win. I think it was more about the fact that they had the best record in the National League. And I'm looking at the matchups, not getting into the details of the pitching staffs and so forth. But I thought the Brewers had a better offense. And I thought they were going to be hard to beat. And last night, I'm cheating here because I had to take a picture of this to make sure I get it right, since I'm not an expert. But the Brewers just set a Major League Baseball all-time record. Now, we always talk about the records in baseball. I don't know if they matter more, but let's face it, when you're talking records in baseball history, you're talking about some records.
Yeah.
The Brewers, 13 first-inning runs through the first 2 games of a playoff series sets an all-time new baseball record.
Bernie Brewer, some of those were home runs, I'm sure. He's got to be feeling it from sliding down that slide. That's got to hurt.
We heard he's okay, but they've added some padding to the slide itself, or maybe his. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He's happy to have strawberries from this. I was watching the game last night. I happened to turn it over just bottom of the first. They're down 3-0. The Brewers to the Cubs 3-0, and I literally I go get something. I go to beer and I come back, and they're ahead. I mean, their bats are hot, so Cubs are going to have to bring it in Chicago.
They put a three spot up in the bottom of the first, and I bet you that really took the wind out of the sails for
Yes.
the for Wrigleyville. It's something.
Well, the Cubs
T-
put up a three spot, but it didn't seem
yeah,
to do anything to the Brewers. That's
they they turned right around and tied him up and said, "Okay, that's all
yeah,
you
whatever.
got."
Is that
Cubs
yeah? Is that it?
pitching, Cubs pitching is that's the downfall. That's all I
We'll
really
see.
have in the series so far. It's
That's right.
not good. And then we'll talk the Dodgers now. The Dodgers pitching, completely different story. And another three spot, as we were talking about with the Brewers and the Cubs. Otani starts for the first time ever in a playoff game, and he gives up 3 runs. And I was like, oh boy, he's going to have a bad game. But no, he settled down, got his 6 innings in, and in game two, Snellzilla, Blake Snell. He was he had a rough first part of the year. He was coming back from had something going on with his shoulder, but he was great. And on offense, finally, it looks like Teoscar Hernandez is heating up. He had a huge home run against Philadelphia. And then game two, Will Smith, man, Will the Thrill is back from his hand injury, and a huge 2 run, 2 RBI hit last night for the Dodgers. So, of course, being a Dodgers fan, I'm happy about it. But games three and four, and if I think Philadelphia is going to have to get Kyle Schwarber hot. Without him,
Well,
he's really in a slump. I feel bad for him.
I mean, the game last night's game two was close. Philadelphia had the tying run on third. The bullpen for the Dodgers still seems to be a little shaky to close things out. I mean, some of it, in my opinion, might have been kind of managerial decisions that could be questioned. But I will tell you this: Tommy Edman owes Freddie Freeman whatever beer he wants for like the month because that throw to end the game. By the way, Freddie bobbles that or doesn't make that play. It's tied, and then who knows what could happen.
Yeah, that was
Freddie Freeman,
exciting.
I mean, it was. I mean, it was literally like Chuck Knobloch. You could see by the way he kind of bobbled it, and then you could see by the way he was holding it. It was like all 7 fingers around it as he like threw it into the dirt. Uh, the announcer called it a lawn dart, which I think we just used a couple episodes ago for a quarterback. But yeah,
Gotcha.
anyways, Freddie Freeman, solid Gold Glove winner. No problem. So there we go, off to the Dodgers now. So we'll see what happens.
Love the Chuck Knobloch comment. It made me think of Steve Sachs when he just suddenly couldn't
Yes.
throw the ball accurately, no matter from anywhere. And I think he
Yeah.
was a second baseman too. Can you hear
Yeah.
Vin Scully calling that game last night? The Scoop by Freddie Freeman, brought to you by Haagen Dazs.
Hey, good one. Yes.
Now we got
Well, I'll tell you what. Vin Scully would have been a little nervous for the bullpen. And then finally, we've got what? We got the Mariners Tigers, 1-1.
Blue Jays Yankees.
Blue Jays Yankees. That's right. Hey, I'll tell you what. The blue one team is like showing up to play. I mean, the Blue Jays. The first game, okay, game one, they are not messing around. The Blue Jays. I think they feel like they're being disrespected. They won the division. Um, they tied the division, but won it. And I think they're just feeling like they're not getting a lot of respect. So you know, we'll see what happens. But I'll be honest with you, this doesn't look like a where you're playing situation. This looks like who you're playing situation. And right now, Toronto, they forget the momentum. They just feel like they are pounding the Yankees like the Yankees owe them money or something. It is like the Bronx is switched roles. Now it's like I got an offer you can't refuse. And the Blue Jays are the ones talking about that.
Yeah, it's becoming the Blue Bombers, not the Bronx Bombers. Good point.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I
Can
agree.
can New York pitching turn it around? When is their rookie phenom Schlittler? Where's I always want to Schlitz when I say his name.
Me
Uh,
too.
Schlittler could start, and maybe he'll come up with another gem. But I'll tell you what, they better Yankees pitching better keep the ball down
Hey,
because the Blue Jays are
yep, they
killing
better
them.
do something because when you're down 2-0 in a best of five, there's obviously no room for error. Hey, Joe, that was, wow, that was insightful. But you only got to win one out of three. And you've just been crushing New York pitching. And I don't think New York had a strategy. Let's start our fourth and fifth pitcher. I mean, who you going to and how you going to do it, I don't know. But let's see.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of baseball to be played.
Tigers
We,
and the Mariners.
Tigers and the Mariners.
Have an admission to make. I made a mistake. I assumed Tarek Skubal was going to be the game one and game four pitcher. No, he did not start game one, and the Tigers actually won the ball game. Then Skubal dances out there onto the mound to start game two, and the Tigers lose. So credit to the Mariners. That's going to be an interesting series. So my apologies for thinking Skubal was going to be game one. I'm not an expert.
No, no, you're not. No, that makes two of us. Um, so that takes care of baseball. We have some predictions we can go through very quickly because we're running out of time. We've got a lot of football to talk about too in the
Yeah.
next segment.
Yep.
So,
College.
well, right, we got college and pro to talk about. So
Yeah.
we've got to get rolling here. Let's let just for the viewers to remember our picks. Jim had the Dodgers. I had the Phillies. Jim, you're looking good right now. Jim had the Cubs. I had the Brewers. Looks like I'm looking good
You
in
look,
that one.
you look good.
Jim had the Yankees. If I'm
No,
not mistaken,
no, I had the Blue Jays.
Jim had the Blue Jays. Joe had see what I tried to do there. Nice
Yeah.
try. I'm stuck with
I'm
the
watching
Yankees.
you.
Thanks, Jerry, my father-in-law. That was for you. But
Watching
it's
you,
not over
Joe.
yet. And then Jim has the Tigers, and I have the Mariners. So
Yep. Got it.
it looks like I'm going to need to pull one of those out.
Yeah, big time. So
Yeah, big
college,
time.
speaking of rolling on to the next subject, roll tide. I guess they pulled it off. We both picked Bama. I'll go ahead and come out on a limb and say I was hoping Vanderbilt would beat them 2 years in a row, but that's all I really have to say about it. Bama looked good. They looked
Um, Alabama did look good. It's funny after recovering from their first game of the year. It looks to me just like Alabama. It's they're winning these games now, kind of like a veteran boxer. They're not going out there just punching you like a Mike Tyson, just knocking you out in the first round anymore, like they used to. They're now just kind of, you know, looking like a veteran boxing with some body blows and then taking the shots when they need to. DeBoer is not Nick Saban, but I don't think he said he was either. But I think, they're not winning games like they used to. So we'll see if they can keep the momentum going as they get into some tougher games. Vanderbilt, kudos to them. Great start to the year, but you can just tell they still didn't have, who was it that said it's the Jimmies and Joes, not the X's and O's? And, in some of these games, that's more obvious.
us up, Jimmy's and Joe's.
Hey, well, exactly. I mean, it's not us. Thankfully for either team that it
Gave
wasn't
the
us.
attention. I feel
Hmm.
honored.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Game two, we picked, and we both picked Bama, so we got that correct. Game two, we both picked Virginia, and I'm pretty impressed with the Cavaliers. I'm pretty impressed. Another overtime victory on the road at Louisville. That was something else. It was
Yep.
tight.
Yep. I mean, Louisville looks, good. Yeah, they're they're finding ways to win.
There's
They're
no
they're
better way to
hanging
say
in
it.
there. They're taking care of the ball. So we'll see what happens. UVA, I mean, still undefeated in the ACC until next game. The jury says they're not guilty of hurting themselves, and their offense is just good enough, and their defense looks to be just good enough to win these games against teams like Louisville.
I think Virginia is going to have to be one of those teams that's going to be in it towards the end, against probably Miami, who we'll talk about right after this game that we picked. We both, so far, we doing great in college. Both picked Bama. We both picked Virginia.
Yes.
But we're not experts. Sometimes we'll try to act like them. The Gators in Texas. We mentioned in our last show, is there a Manning curse? I picked the Gators. You went with the Longhorns. That one you're going to take a little ouch on. And you know what? I wonder if there is some of that Manning curse going on. But
Um,
Florida beat Texas pretty handily. I think the game was not as close as the score indicated.
no, no, it wasn't. It was one of those games where the eye test told you the better team was Florida. Um, uh, there's no other way around it. Hey, listen, Manning, Texas is in trouble with Manning. I don't have Manning's stats in front of me right now, but I can tell you this: I happen to come across different podcasts and blogs and things, just reading um, for entertainment value, and I mean Texas fans are not happy, and it's sad that it's really being directed at one person. When if you look at Texas, they have more problems than just QB. The defense doesn't look like a top five defense anymore. Um, and if you have a challenge at QB like you have right now, you can find ways around that. But you can't run the ball. You can't. You're just not doing a lot of good things right now.
Gators, when they do that Tom Petty song where they sing "We Won't," the Molly Hatchet song, Gator Country. They
Yeah, I wish I could whistle
yeah.
loudly.
Ooh, this
Danny,
was
Danny Joe Brown, Gator Country,
Molly Hatchet, the old
Texas.
garage band.
Texas swaggered in like it was a country music video. And Florida reminded them pretty quickly, this ain't Nashville. This ain't Austin. This is the swamp, which had lost a lot of its luster, but looks like the mud and the swamp creatures were back.
Yep.
Texas left smelling like sunscreen and regret from Gainesville. So Texas, what's left for them now? Wow.
Sunscreen and Rivette. Are they going to do a deodorant for that, just like they are with the barbecue smell?
Well, in a related story, I do regret when you smell like sunscreen because, yeah. Oh, wait, no, that's antiperspirant. Never mind. My fault. Yeah. That was another story. Honorable mention. What about the Penn State UCLA? We didn't have that written down as one of our.
No.
You know why we didn't write it down as one of our picks? Because Penn State playing 0 and 4 UCLA, who just made a complete coaching change. We didn't write it down because I think they were favored by like 1,000, so we didn't even think to mention it. Wow, what a disaster!
I was shocked. I could not believe. I had them picked in one of my pools. I was like, whoa, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. No. Penn State, man. Don't get James Franklin fired. We'll never see Keegan Michael Smith do his impersonation anymore.
That would be terrible.
Keegan Michael Key or Keegan Michael.
Keegan Michael,
Yeah, Keegan Michael Key or
Michael and Keegan. Yeah, I know who
yeah,
you're talking about. That's the important thing.
yeah, that guy.
Listen,
Yeah.
after the Oregon game, the what's it called? All the talk was about Franklin not being able to win the big games.
Right.
He's like, what is he? One for 12 or something when the games really counted against top ranked opponents. Well, this week, all the talk is, and he can't win the little games either because that was an embarrassment to the program. Not because, hey, Notre Dame can lose to Northern Illinois, Michigan can lose to, go on and on about these massive upsets that happen in college football. But you're coming off a loss at to Oregon, which was not anything to be ashamed of other than you didn't win at home again. and then you go out to UCLA and lay a complete egg. You look like you were still hungover. Terrible. So, all right, well, let's move on to the other game, the last game we did pick. My beloved Miami Hurricanes against your beloved FSU Seminoles. You and I have been to, I don't know how many Miami FSU matchups we've been to. I know it's been at least 20 over the years, give or take. I mean, maybe more, both in the Orange Bowl and at Doak. So this one, I want to say a lot of people thought it was over pretty quickly, but but thanks to FSU's you know not giving up attitude, possibly Miami's backing off on the gas a little bit or going to a prevent defense, whatever they did, a combination of things. It did get a little dicey in the fourth quarter. It came down to an onside kick that Miami's linebacker Basainth covered two of the three onside kicks. Didn't know he was on the all hands teams, but thanks to him, Miami fans could breathe a sigh of relief because they were only up six at that point, and recovering an onside kick at the 40 with 20 seconds left would have made it very interesting. But it should have never gotten to that close. I don't think anyone really felt it was that close. Miami's defense looks, I mean, the offense looks good compared to last year. Maybe not as explosive, but pretty good, more balanced. But Miami's defense looks like a top five defense
Maybe
on
the
on
best.
both the front end and the back end.
They might be the best defense in the country. And for all of those who may be watching our show that are in South Florida and big time Canes fans, Ruben Bain should be a Heisman candidate. He is a Heisman candidate,
Yes,
but now he's going to have to battle against Carson Beck a little bit because Miami's defense set the table for Carson Beck in the offense.
yes,
It happened quick. There was a fumble by Osman Kromah. Uh, Castellanos, the decision for FSU to go for it on 4th and 8, head scratcher, even after the period changed, and still went out there and tried this 4th and 8 thing. Castellanos throws an interception. The ball gets returned to about the 50-yard line anyway. A punt there could have really changed the game
yeah,
by
no,
getting
no
it back
doubt.
there and then finally praying that maybe FSU's defense could do something there and stop them. They couldn't. They couldn't stop Miami from scoring. Yes, we came back late, but when you have to kick three onside kicks, uh, even
Yeah,
Lee Corso would have said, not so fast, my friend. Yeah.
that was play calling aside. I mean, I think at that point you're trying to get you know you're just trying to make it happen at that point because you're coming back from so far down that it's just tough. I do like to. I had a couple comments from some folks after the game and all that, and somebody said something like, "Well, thank God for the portal for Miami and all that, because yeah, obviously your quarterback's from the portal and so forth." But I do like to quickly remind people. I think Mario Cristobal is doing a fantastic job of both organic growth and the portal. For example, key players in the game: Mark Fletcher, homegrown; Ruben Bain, homegrown; Bryce Fitzgerald, their safety with the interception. That's three in 5 games now. Freshman from Columbus, and then of course, you have, I mean, Ruben Bain, of course, being local as well, but you have Malachi Tony, who they were calling it, what was it? Malahassi was the nickname after that game because of the way he played. He's also a homegrown freshman. Yeah, so Miami's doing it, and of course you can look at the offensive line, and our best lineman, who's probably going to go top five in the draft, is also, a homegrown freshman. So the stars from Miami came out, but he is nicely filling the portal spots, like on defense. Our back end was horrible, and I don't blame him for replacing all of that with portal transfers. Couldn't have been worse, except for like I said, Bryce. So, anyways, it was a good game. It turned out to be a closer game than it should have been. I think the Heat's not on Norvell because of his buyout. He's got a $66 million buyout. But I think people are going to start to question maybe a little bit of his recruiting strategy because it just looked like in a lot of key positions he didn't have the kind of players Miami had. And you could probably fill in Miami with Ohio State or some of these other Power Fours that are top 5, 10 teams. So we'll see.
That's a good point. And defense wins championships is still holds true to so many things. That defensive line, which I think is the best in the country, isn't just Ruben Bain, it's all of them. And they set the tone on that line. I think their key was they knew Castellanos wasn't going to see a receiver he wanted or something. They're going to try to cover tight right off the line of scrimmage, which they did. Castellanos would want to take off running, which he did, and they limited him from breaking off his big gainers on the ground, which can be killers, and get the offense going, move the sticks. Many times there, he would take off, and it looked like he had some ground, plenty of green grass, and all of a sudden comes the swarming defense, and instead of it being second and 1 or 2, it was second and 8, second
Yep.
and 7.
Yep.
And then that brought
Miami,
up, yeah,
it's a huge difference. Miami is very quick to the ball this year. They are really aggressive to the ball. Here's the biggest difference in what I see so far with a lot of teams, not just Miami. Miami can pressure the quarterback with 4. They don't need to bring a linebacker. They don't need to bring a safety up, so they can cover with 7. They don't need to. Now they do blitz, and when they have blitz, it's been successful partly because it's not really expected. It's used very sparingly. But when you can put pressure on a quarterback with just 4, and I don't mean, hey, you can rush 4 when you can put pressure. Ruben Bain had 9 pressures in that game. Florida State as a whole had 7 quarterback pressures, no sacks. Ruben Bain had 9 by himself. When you
so
can put that kind of pressure on a team with just rushing 4, you give yourself a lot of flexibility in the back end, and and if your corners and safeties can cover, we'll see. But Florida State has some work to do. I think against these, I don't want to say better offenses, but Virginia moved the ball quite a bit on them. I think the defense they need to figure some things out there on the defense. All right.
we'll talk more about that on Friday, but I
Yeah.
do
By the
want to
way,
go.
don't you have to do something because of the bet we had for that game?
Yeah, I was so hoping that Florida State would win, but before I put this on, this was my dad's University of Miami baseball cap, dear to me. And
Yes.
he's probably up there, up above right now, sitting next to Bobby Bowden. And it reminds me of when they asked Coach Bowden towards the very tail end of his career, you've had a couple of national championships and you had that dynasty, everything. What do you think? What do you think about the whole your career and everything? And Bobby Bowden had a great quip, and I'll try it now that they're gonna put on my tombstone, but he played Miami.
Yeah.
I lost the bet. There you go, Joe.
Yes. Well, I never like to celebrate someone else's demise or defeat, and certainly this is very. It's not painful for me to watch because, well, I love seeing that hat on anyone, especially you. And we've been to many Miami baseball games together down at the Light, so that brings back great memories as well.
Yes, sir.
Um, and I'm just glad I didn't lose the bet because standing out in my front yard, anytime a neighbor passed by in Speedos doing the tomahawk chop, whoa, for a full day would have been a very difficult thing to see on any kind of media. And I'm not talking about me, I'm talking for anyone to see it. That would have been difficult. So,
For your neighbor's sake, I'm kind of glad
yeah,
Miami.
the world's and anybody's sake who would, accidentally see that. So thank you, Miami, for that victory. Okay.
Take the cap off because it's only a 7 1/4. My
Mm.
head, if you had it full of quarters, you'd be rich. So I had to take it off or else I'll get a headache and won't be able to finish the show. So
Um,
congrats to the Hurricanes. We're gonna get you back next year.
yes. Okay. Well, I look forward to that. It'll be at the Rock. and we'll look forward to that. First things first, the ACC is still in play, even though Florida State's chances to win the ACC are now down to .05, which is 0.1% better than Clemson, which is .04. So yeah. So don't feel bad. All right, let's go to the
Yeah,
NFL.
I
We
like
have
your
about
chance.
4 minutes left. What'd you say? What was that?
I said thanks for that. I like our chances then.
Yeah. So what you're saying is there's a chance.
Yes, sir.
Um, yes. So NFL. Let's get to the NFL. We had 3 games on a docket that we picked scores for. Let's talk about those very quickly. The first one, I believe, was Tampa Bay,
Yeah,
Seattle.
yeah. We both picked the Bucks, and I'm just Levante David's interception. Really, that did it. And look at the Bucks winning on their last drive of just about every game now. Unbelievable.
Let me tell you something. That was crazy. I mean, the way Baker Mayfield started off, I benched him in my fantasy team for Drake May, and I was thinking I made the right choice in the first quarter, even really the first half. But wow. First of all, I think Seattle. I think the game changed by the fumble by Milrow. I think that gadget play, that didn't go well. But Baker Mayfield, every time I think the guy's a little banged up from he looked like he was limping around last week. He's not a young buck anymore. He looks like the guy to me who gets kind of kicked out of the bar and a couple guys beat him up in the parking lot. And then you're like, well, that's the end of him. And then somehow you come back to the bar in 2 weeks and he owns it. It's like, you know, how does he do it? I don't know. The guy hustles, and right now I wouldn't want to play the Bucks, man, because they're not fancy. They just drag you into this ugly kind of game. It's not pretty, and they somehow what is it? The last 4 games have been won by one score or something like that. They're about to set like an NFL record for most one score games or something. It's crazy.
You got
Yeah,
it.
no, they really are. I mean, that phrase gets thrown around, the cardiac. They really are. Like if you're a Bucks fan, you literally have to be on heart medication, man, because they make it close every time.
We
We
got the
both picked Tampa
Eagles,
Bay.
and
Yes,
then yep, we both picked Tampa Bay and got that right. I believe from what I watched, and they lost. One undefeated team that went down. We'll have something special about that at the very end. But
yes.
that was quite an effort by the Broncos.
Yeah, no, I agree. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it might not have been, it might have been my TV. I thought I heard booing. I thought I heard some boos coming up from Philadelphia in the second half because it was like it's like they thought their job was to go 3-and-out all of a sudden. No, their offense really got stagnant. I mean, it was like they were still in warm-ups. Bo Nix came out in the second half and said, "Here, hold my course," and just went to work. Good for him. I don't, don't love Denver for any reason, being in the Raiders division, of course. I don't dislike Bo Nix, but it's always good to see a rookie who's really been paying his dues, have a game like that.
Philly fans are going to boo. I mean, they throw
Yeah, true.
snowballs at Santa Claus, so whatever.
Yes.
Let them
Yes.
boo. Anyway,
Yes.
then we had the Chargers and the Commanders game. So we both got the Eagles game wrong. Wah, 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 wah. And the
Hmm.
Commanders and the Chargers. I was a little worried about Herbert, and I still don't think he looks right. And the Commanders dominated that game. So I got that one right. But what's going on with the Chargers? They're up and down. They're weird.
I don't know. I really don't. It looks like they figure out new ways to lose every week. I mean, seriously. I don't know what even to say. Herbert looks like he's panicked all the time, and I don't know if he's gotten shelled in a couple games where he's now got happy feet or something, but he doesn't look like he's the old decision making Herbert. He's kind of throwing questionable passes now. I don't know what it is, but
They
they
got to
they have Washington didn't look great either. That's how bad the Chargers looked. So
Yeah. Yeah, they got to clean that up. They got to clean it up.
Yeah.
And real quick, the Dolphins. Mentioned that honorable mention. The Dolphins. They were gonna take care of the Panthers. That didn't happen. That was really bad. How they gave up all those rushing yards. Now they have the 29th worst defense.
200 and was it 211
232 total
to a
rushing
backup
yards
quarter
for
to a backup
Carolina.
running back, 211 yards.
Dowdle had 206 rushing yards. That was the difference in the ballgame. The Dolphins couldn't stop the run. They're the 29th ranked against the run. They're the 29th ranked defense in the NFL. It's bad. Things got to change. So
Yeah. Well, and here's the pattern with the Dolphins is getting very concerning because now in these games, it's like they're starting off like the Globetrotters. They're like the Harlem Globetrotters. Beautiful quick release passes and all that. They go down, even against Buffalo, they look like they're going to be able to compete. And as the game progresses, when they get to the fourth quarter, they morph right in front of your eyes from the Harlem Globetrotters to the Washington Generals. They they just like what happened? They find a way to just make a mistake or lose. And I'm getting so tired of McDaniel's post game. I don't even know why I watched them. It's literally like sticking. It's like sticking a needle, like poking myself. Hey, I think I'll watch McDaniel's post game, interview. Like, why do I do that? Because he just makes it more frustrating.
yeah, don't watch it anymore, please.
It's hard not to. Because
Lifelong friend,
I just
keep it
keep
that
thinking
way.
what he's finally going to say something that makes sense, or he's going to blame something that's real. It Wow.
Definition
Yeah.
of insanity. You know the rest. Don't
Yes,
do
I
it.
do. Yeah,
Don't do it, Joe. But you
I know.
mentioned Drake May earlier, just before we wrap it up now. And you mentioned Drake May. He is my hero. What a
Yes, my hero
game
too.
he had. And that's the other undefeated team that went down. And as I look at that Orange Bowl picture above your head, and I think of the 1972 Dolphins, what do you say? We have a little toast.
We're going to do what all Miami Dolphin former players from that team do. Those who are still with us,
Yep.
and they have a celebratory glass of champagne when the last team is no longer winless. Or wait, did I say that right? When they're all have a loss. So here's my Corbel Brute. I'll be pouring myself a glass, and you and I will be enjoying a toast. Here's to you, my friend.
Icky High,
The
1972
1972
Miami
undefeated Miami
Dolphins.
Dolphins still remain undefeated. That's nice. The taste of victory. Yes. And, in watching the Chiefs and Jaguars last night, I must comment on that game. No one can no one can look as bad as Trevor Lawrence on the last drive with a minute 45 left, down by four. Got to have a touchdown. Minute 45, scrambles, gets tackled, runs back. They only have two timeouts. They don't want to burn one. Runs back, 25 seconds gone. Scrambles, gets sacked for a loss. Could have thrown a ball away, had like 18 minutes to do that. So now they're down to a minute. They got to call timeout. Then he throws an absolute dime. I think a 44-yarder down to the 20 to the receiver, number 7. I forget his name. He dropped like 4 balls earlier, made a catch over his shoulder. Unbelievable. And then it comes down to the final play, 13 seconds left, no timeouts. After a pass interference call, they're on the 1-yard line. His foot gets stepped on and he falls down. Trevor Lawrence is on the ground and he's trying to scramble to his feet, just like a scene in a horror movie where the slow-moving villain is going towards somebody who's patching out in the dirt trying to get their footing. And Trevor Lawrence gets up literally, and there's not one Chief around him. I mean, not even close. And from the 6-yard line, wherever he was laying down at, trots had to kind of step out of one grasp, steps in to win the game. Unbelievable. I mean, you watch sports. Why do we do sports? Because you can watch sports and football for how long? 64 years we've been watching. And I've never seen that before. Never seen that play. Unbelievable.
what brings families together, man.
Yes. So
Brings
that's
families
it for this episode. Thank you for joining us. Remember, we really, really want to hear your comments. We promise we read every one. So just remember, that's it for this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports talk.
Don't forget, your comments are a part of the show. Drop them below. We'll read them and feature them in the future episodes. Be sure to like, subscribe, and catch us every week for free on YouTube, Spotify soon, and wherever you listen. And one last time.
Cheers, my
Here's the
friend.
1972 Miami Dolphins. And
Cheers, my
congrats
friend.
to the Hurricanes. We're going to get you next year, Joe. Love you, man.
Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Love you, bro. Take care, man.
Take care.